Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up. I made this fun fold card with products from Stampin' Up. I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website, and you'll be able to just click the links for the products that you would like to be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up. You'll see where to find all of that at the end of this video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. I am using Dragonfly Garden and the Dragonfly's Punch, and you can get these as a bundle if you buy them at the same time and save yourself 10%. I'm using the Stitched Rectangles dies. My inks are Poppy Parade, Mossy Meadow, and I'm using the Wink of Stella clear glitter pen. I will be using the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Of course, you could use the big one if you'd like. I am using the Bumblebee gingham ribbon. So pretty. My cardstock is a piece of Poppy Parade. This is a quarter sheet that is 5.5 by 4.25. It's different than my usual card. This piece is also kind of a card base, also a little bit different than my usual. This is 8 by 5.25, and I've scored it at 4. I have a piece of Poppy Parade that's 3 by 4.25. I have a piece of basic white that is 4 by 2.5. I have a strip of basic white that is 7.5 by 2. A strip that is 4 by 1. Some of the Fine Arts floral, and you could really choose a lot of the different ones from this pack. I am choosing the one with the light background. This is 4 by 3, and I have this piece that's a bumblebee pattern that's 3 3/4 by 5. Of course, I have an envelope. I will also be using my trimmer and some Stampin' Dimensionals. So the first thing we want to do is take that designer series paper. We're going to adhere this onto the Poppy Parade, the large piece. And you're only going to see the top little corner, so I'm saving myself. I'm not covering up the whole piece. Then we want to score a diagonal line on our card base. So we have it with the open side up and the fold down. And we want this left folded corner at the 2-inch mark and the right open corner at the track. So we want our score line to go from the top right corner down about between 2 and 3 inches. This is not absolutely critical, but we want to score pretty solidly, because we want to hope that it goes all the way through. And we're going to open it up and kind of do a reverse fold on this. So that that corner comes in. And then you want to crease this well. I did not give you the measurements for cutting this diagonal piece because we want to have that same angle. Whatever you made here, you want to have here. So we're going to put the corner to the corner, and we're going to lightly give a mark on the designer series paper, and we're going to go ahead and cut that mark. Now if you cut it just a tiny bit to the large side of that line, you won't have to erase anything. And so this should fit perfectly. You've got the same angle. And my directions don't say at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card base. We are going to stamp May Good Things Grow All Year Long in Mossy Meadow ink. And I just re-inked this, so I'm going to just double check. Yep. And I'm going to adhere this to my card base. And this should cover that designer series paper. And it does perfectly. So nobody has to know that there's nothing underneath here. Now I'm going to cut the panels for the front of the card, so I need the number 1 plate and my number 2 plate, and mine's pretty cut up. I want the Poppy Parade. If you have my taggers, this is going to be the number 4 die. So you can just match that and pull that out and double check that you've got the right one. And while I've got those out, I'm going to get the number 5. That should be the next smaller one. Yep. And we'll cut the white with the number 5. So I'm going to cover that up with the number 2 plate and roll it through. When you're using a die that has straight edges like this, if you can get it to go through diagonally, it really will work a lot better. There'll be less popping and it will avoid kind of hopping over. But these new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines seem to do, in my opinion, seem to do a better job of cutting on the first time. So now I'm going to do the basic white cardstock, and I do have room to put this at a little bit of an angle. And I'll cover this up. So these will layer nicely with that little stitched edge. Now you may be looking at this card and saying, wait a minute, that looks a little different. It is. I could not help myself. This is a new die that's coming out with the new annual catalog. I just had to try it. So this is a little bit larger, a little bit straighter, just as pretty. But this is from the, I think they're called the Contours dies. Love them. So that's just a little bit of a sneak peek. We're going to stamp You Are an Inspiration on the bottom of this card. We're going to be stamping the Dragonfly on the strip of basic white. And we're stamping 3 of them. And there's one other thing, if you were looking close, I have some little dragonflies that are stamped. If you look at the stamp case, there is no small dragonfly. There are these dragonflies, but that's not what I used. I used this same dragonfly. I just realized that we really need to have a longer strip of the basic white. This should also be 1 inch, but it needs to be at least the same 7.5 inches long. When I made these directions, I hadn't figured out I could do this, so I hadn't written the directions for this. So we want to still stamp that dragonfly, mostly the wings. Don't worry if the body and the head go off the edge. It's okay. So you can have as many dragonflies as you would like. I think 3 is plenty. So you get both the large dragonfly and the small one. And I'm going to go ahead and punch out the large dragonfly. And I am going to use Wink of Stella. Probably it would have been easier to do Wink of Stella before I punched him out. And maybe I'll go ahead and do Wink of Stella now. We mainly want to get the wings. If you do this right after you've stamped them, it may bleed a little bit, but I actually like that, to have a little bit of the same color spread out a little bit. Just a tiny bit. You do not need to color these carefully. The Wink of Stella is just kind of a subtle sparkle. And on these, we just need to go about 1/2 inch or so. We don't need to waste our Wink of Stella. I don't know if you figured it out, but I'm going to let my punch do the work for me of making these little dragonflies. So we're just centering the body in that punch. And kind of moving it up as far as you can on those wings. And I think that looks just perfect. So we're going to go ahead and adhere the "You Are an Inspiration." And I don't know if you spotted, I didn't do an even job of inking that. And if you use a delicate hand and just not try and like write entirely, but just kind of catch little bits. And I think it's going to be less noticeable. We're going to tie our ribbon around here, right over the greeting. And I'm using a square knot. I learned in Girl Scouts, right over left, left over right. And I like to, when I'm halfway through, use my third hand, an alligator clip from the hardware store. And if you pull one side harder than the other and let it wrap around, you'll get a very pretty knot. Give it a trim. Put this on with Stampin' Dimensionals, and you can slide your ribbon to where you want it. Now the dimensionals cannot be on this top section. So what I do is I put the bottom dimensionals on here, and you can put one in the middle, it's a good thing. But then kind of center this card so you know where the dimensionals should go here. So I need one here, and I need one here. So that should accommodate the card, and I won't have to worry about getting my dimensionals sticking the card closed. That would be a bad thing. And I'm putting this top corner at the edge, putting one of my dragonflies on the label. And I'm kind of sending that off on a jaunty angle. Now, it's kind of fun to have one of these flying over the edge. When it's closed, it'll really be pretty far from any of the edges. So I want to just put the adhesive on the body of the dragonfly. I want there to be enough to stick it, but I do not want any glue going off to the side. So this is all on that same triangle, and this dragonfly will go onto the inside. I do like to put these flat on the card, not dimensional here. And I can see I've got a little bit of smudge, so I'm going to put my dragonfly here, cover up that smudge. And I want to put one of these flying off the edge there. And you can really just scatter these around where you want. I don't even know where I'm going to put this guy. Maybe going off that way. I don't want them flying in formation. I think I'm going to use these little dragonflies and just kind of do a spattering of them. And I think I will put one on the front, but kind of cover up this back. And we'll put just one there. Lots of dragonflies. The new catalog goes live on May 4th. Here's the cover of it, and I wish I could show you the inside. But I am busy preparing all my labels and case inserts for it, and I am happy to report that this Dragonfly Garden bundle is in the new catalog as a bundle. So yay! Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. Just click the links and you'll be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up! Also on my website, you'll find a shop button. Under shop, you'll find products from Bev, shopping strategies, frequent shopper points, a link to my online store at Stampin' Up! When you click products from Bev, you'll find information about sharing my current products notebook in Evernote, and taggers. I started making taggers when all of those layering shapes came out, and it was so hard for me to figure out which one I used and how to tell somebody else which one I used. So I made taggers. Each tagger has the name of the dies, the item number, how many in the set, and each tagger has the size of that shape. I also sell my cardstock sampler, fine tip glue pen replacement tips, and large and small reclosable bags that I use for designer series paper, both the 6x6 and the 12x12. And I have a link for my friend's bow maker. Under inspiration, you can scroll my projects, look at the latest post, find out about the basics, which I've designed especially for new stampers, and techie tips. Under getting organized, you'll find links to stamp case slips, product labels, large labels, case inserts, ink refill cases, lots of coloring tools, a stamp pad storage solution for practically no money, catalog tabs, a quick reference, and a wish list with the catalog index, directions for my basic toolkit to go and my compact desktop toolbox. I have so many people looking for my Evernote current products notebook that I have a new tab just for that. You can find out how to share my searchable catalog. You can go to SIP Together, and you can find out how to join my team so that you can either save money or make money. Thank you for stopping by. Talk to you soon.